Welcome to the Wealth Detective Podcast. Are you ready to become your own wealth detective, to find money in new ways and experience wealth like never before? Well, come along for some wild stories that will teach you, inspire you, maybe even shock you a little bit. And let's get ready to build wealth together. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here and welcome. Okay, what do you do if you get to a place where you feel like you're in a money slump, or you're just feeling, just kind of with money, okay? Here's the thing. Money is a relationship. It's actually why my one-on-one mentoring program is called Transforming Your Relationship with Money, because it's a relationship, which means, let's be real, most relationships have some ups, some downs, some ughs, some woohoos, and all the above, or all the in between, right? But it never feels great, right? When you're in more of that slump situation with any relationship, let alone with money. Okay, so what do you do? All right, so I'm going to get pretty open here for a minute. Last fall, I had some financial losses, some unexpected financial losses in one of my companies, and we're talking, it was around $16,000, okay, US dollars. Like it brought up a lot of frustration. Okay, so first, I'm setting the scene here, okay? So we had that. Then I was heading over to Thailand for a few months, and I had budgeted around like $6,000 for it for the time that I would be there. It ended up costing over $18,000. So I have a rental property, and for the most part, there's like zero issues. Like I have the best renters in the world. Like I hardly hear from them. Like things just run really smoothly. But literally the minute I landed in Thailand, the water heater went out. And then like a month later, the heater went out. So over $5,000 of repairs, like that had to be done. Like there's no choice. You need the hot water and you need a heater in the middle of winter in a place where it's kind of pretty cold. So about $5,000 of repair costs. Okay. So I'm not going to lie, my friends. I am not going to lie. I've been in a little bit of a slump with money myself. Okay. Now, do I like admitting this? Oh, heavens, no. Because it's not where I want to be, right? And I don't think any of us want to be in these types of positions, okay? But it's kind of one of those things where it's like you feel like you're just getting ahead with everything, and then bam, we're talking, I haven't done the math, but like upwards of $30,000, okay? Of all these different things hitting at once. Okay, so thankfully, I'm the wealth detective. I can find money, and like really, I'm making it work. I still have savings. We're still moving forward. Okay. Do I wish my savings were $30,000 plumper? Yeah, I really do. Okay. However, things are still moving forward. Okay. So I'm also currently in the process of trying to buy a house. And with that, so I have a tax accounting company also, and we specialize in small businesses. And so on paper, wise, I don't make a lot of money, which is fantastic. And it's all legal, moral, ethical. Okay. However, when it comes to buying a house, that does not help and does not look great. Okay. So there's just, like I said, I'm just being real honest here. There's been a lot that has come up for me with money in these last 6-7 months. Okay. And here's the thing. I know I'm not alone. Okay. How do I know that? Well, number one, I see like hundreds of people's finances and taxes every year. And I talk to hundreds of clients, and I'm telling you, a lot of people had financial shakeups in the last 6 to 7 months. Now, let's be real. there are astrological and numerology reasons behind this that actually just coincide with the why. We're not going to dive into it right now, but it's just kind of one of those fascinating things to watch and be like, oh, there is a pattern here. Okay. So here's the thing. I know I'm not the only one. So I'm going to guess that there are probably a few of you out there that are like, yes, oh my gosh, I maybe haven't even put it together, but you're right. There have been some wild things. And quite frankly, a lot of people lost a lot of money. Okay. So what do we do? What have I done the last 6 or 7 months to get through this? And I'm kind of curious, like, what have you done? Or are you like, oh no, girl, I'm waiting for the answer. Keep talking. Okay. If that's the case, send me a message. I want to hear about it. Okay. I'm here to support you. Okay. So the first thing that you do is you feel it. And I'm not going to lie. Like, money brings up a lot of big emotions for many people, me included. Okay. So I have cried. I have talked things out to my mentors and some friends because I have my support team. I have done a whole hell of a lot of breath work. And we're not talking just like funsies little like few minute breath works. We're talking like 50-minute breath work session being like, dude, I got to feel this because like we've got to move through this. We need to process some things so that everything can get back in flow. Okay. Because money loves flow. It's like water. When water doesn't flow, it becomes all stagnant and yucky. So when we don't feel our feelings and our emotions and fully process them, that's what happens with all of it is it becomes stagnant. It becomes stuck. And when we feel it, we get the waters moving again. And sometimes that requires us to have enough trust and faith to go out and spend a little bit of money. And I'm not talking hundreds or thousands of dollars. I'm talking just go buy some groceries or something, okay? Because a lot of times what I've seen is when these things happen, it feels like a breach of trust, okay? It's this relationship, right? And we're like, dude, money, what happened? Like, you didn't show up for me. Like, what the hell? Like, you always show up for me. Like, why is this happening right now? Okay. So these are some of the thoughts that maybe you've thought or maybe you haven't, but there's this little bit of this breach of trust. And so a lot of times people pull back, which is normal. Okay. Because also, I get it. You're trying to be smart financially and fiscally responsible, right? However, there is this thing with wanting to get money to flow is that you also get to keep it in flow. Okay. Meaning that you have to say, okay, I'm going to trust you enough money that I'm going to go spend it and I'm going to put some out there and I'm going to trust that it will flow back to me. Okay. So first step, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel all the feels that you're feeling. And if you need some help with that, let me know. I've got plenty of resources, plenty of things that actually help with this. Okay. Number 2, you're going to trust. You're going to choose into trusting the flow again. Okay. Which means go buy something for like $3, $5, just to show yourself and energy and all of the things that you are trusting that it's going to come back to you. Next, you're going to choose your perspective. So let me tell you what that looks like. So in talking to hundreds of clients, there was one in particular, been a client for years and years and years with our accounting company, okay? He lost over, well, I should say they lost over $2.3 million last year, okay? So as I am working on their taxes and we're figuring out how to help them take these losses, right? Because they obviously were able to take the losses. I'm sitting there thinking, and I was like, Jamie, let's give this perspective. You're 30,000-ish to 2.3 million. I'm going to choose my 30,000. Okay. Now, yes, were we obviously in different income brackets? Yes, definitely. However, there were actually some similarities to our situations. Okay. And so I was like, no, they are taking it amazingly well because they also felt it all. Okay. And they reached out for support. They're taking steps to get things corrected. Okay. They're trusting and they're moving forward. Okay. So with me looking at it being like, you know what? I'm really grateful that I haven't lost $2.3 million. I hope I never have to experience that. I never really wanted to experience I shouldn't say losing, but having different things that totaled up to over 30,000. But you know what? I'm going to choose the perspective that like, somehow this is all working for my good. Somehow this is all working out for me, even if I can't see it right now. Okay. I say that to myself so often, and I invite you to adopt that in your life. I have no idea how this is all working out for me, but it is all working for my good. It is all working out for me. And at some point I will look back and I will be able to see how all the dots connected. And until then, I am choosing to trust. Okay. That's like a literal conversation I would have with myself over and over and over again. Okay. So literally choosing your perspective. And then the next one is your choice. Okay. Which I know I said choosing your perspective. So that one's a little bit, that's a choice too. But also just choosing how you want to perceive this situation and how you want to move forward with it. And this doesn't mean that occasionally things aren't going to come up and be like, ooh, you sure you want to do that? Remember what happened last time? Or, ooh, are you sure you really want to do that? Okay. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but what that means is that in those moments, I redecide and I re-choose and I say, yep, that did happen. I am not discounting the reality of what I went through. However, this is a new situation. This is new energy. This is a new, I'm moving forward. And in order to move forward, this is what needs to happen. And so I'm going to trust and I'm going to choose in that it's all working out for me. And then you move forward. Okay. Does that sound doable? Have you ever done this process before? Okay. So let me just go over those steps again. And now my mind just went blank, but I will remember. Okay. So you're going to fill it. You are going to fill all the fills. Okay. Then you're going to choose to trust in the flow of money. Even if it's a very small thing, you're going to look at the other situation, then choose your perspective. And then you're going to choose to move forward and you're going to choose to trust yourself. And you're going to say, it gets to work out for me in the best way possible. So lots of you may still be in the midst of dealing with some of the fallout from these last few months. And if that's the case, number one, you're not alone. Number two, reach out for some support, whether that's me or a different mentor or somebody. And just know it's going to get better. Okay. It is going to get better because you're deciding and choosing right now that, yeah, it's going to go up from here. And at some point, whether it is tomorrow or in 50 years, you will be able to understand the why things worked out how they did, what the greater purpose was, all the different things. You'll find the meaning in a situation, but you don't have to know the meaning or find meaning in it right now. Okay. So let yourself off the hook there, but just take a step forward. Take a step forward. Trust yourself. Trust that there's always more money out there because it's always circulating. So trust that your money is out there. And remember that I'm also here to help you. So your money's out there. Let's find it together. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. If you enjoyed this episode, there are more tips, tricks, and fun ways to bring in money in my weekly newsletter. Sign up and get all the juicy details every single Monday.